Hello, I'm Liz Lumley and this is Finextra at Sibos. And today I'm speaking to Brendan Farrell of SunGard, and of course we're going to talk about corporate actions. So Brendan, it seems like from my point of view that the industry has been talking about STP rates and corporate actions automation for quite some time. So, I mean, why are we now in 2013 still discussing the challenges of corporate actions automation?
I think 2013, we need to look back at the market conditions in 2008, 2009, when many of the projects that were ongoing to automate solutions, including corporate actions at many different places, those projects came to a grinding halt. They got shelved, and most of those were abandoned. As the market started picking up again in 2010, 2011, people came back to the front saying we need to come back and address this corporate action process. So I think we've had a hiatus of about 5-6 years in the process. Technology adoption has been a big issue. In the not so long ago old days, you would deploy software at a client site. Solutions were large, were complex, they cost a lot of money to deploy, they cost a lot of money to run. So there wasn't the appetite for the medium-sized firms to automate the process. Today, as you look at cloud computing, software as a service offerings, there's much bigger appetite today to adopt technology to automate corporate actions. And then finally, I look at the United States, one of the largest markets in the world, but in the world of Swift, very much an emerging market. Up until now, and actually through 2015, to communicate with DTCC, the participants had to key in information back and forth for corporate action, so there's no automated ability to handle files. DTCC have a program called DTC Reengineering, where in 2015 they'll be able to accept Swift messages in the ISO 20022 standard. At that point, I think it's going to create a major impetus for clients of DTCC to not only will they communicate with DTCC through the message type 20022, but they'll be looking then to have further STP capabilities to communicate with custodians, take in additional data interfaces. And corporate action is a food chain of events. So the more you can automate each step of the process, from the larger players to the smaller players down the food chain. So we've got large enterprise scalable solutions with the bigger players, down to the smallest software as a service offering for the smaller player, but they can still communicate with the depositories and automate that process for them. I think we're going to see a substantial turn in adoption of automation of corporate actions in the coming years.
So yeah, so staying in America, I mean, what are some of the firms doing to prepare for 2015?
Well, I'm sure the larger banks, the larger global custodians that are there, have the same issue that many of the European banks have, in that they've spent many years, 12 to 14 years now, building infrastructure and building technology around 15022. The fact that there's no end in sight for 15022, and that 20022 is going to be in coexistence with 15022 for the foreseeable future, I'm sure that they're struggling with the concept of supporting two different standards. When the majority of the marketplace starts using 20022 in the US to communicate with the depositories, and then other locations like the ASX in Australia, SGX in Singapore, JASDAQ in Tokyo are now all publishing their data to the marketplace in 2022. It's going to cause quite a problem for these institutions that are now going to have to support two completely different standards. But from our perspective, that's where we step in, because for our customers, SunGard will make that completely transparent to our customers, because we will support the coexistence of 15022 and 2022 for our customers.
So, I mean, Swift came out with a survey looking at corporate actions, and technologies such as cloud computing came kind of very low on the list of strategic priorities for the bank. Why do you think there's such a pushback on cloud?
I just think there's a general misunderstanding of what cloud really is. It's something new. It's been presented as a new way of storing and managing data, and people are just afraid of things they don't understand. From a very simplistic view, cloud is just another form, really, of a hosted environment. Many of SunGard's customers have been relying on SunGard for many years now to host their solutions for them in various managed services environments. So for us, the cloud is an extension of that. The cloud also allows us now to reach clients we couldn't reach before through services like our software as a service offerings. We've got a solution called Expresa, which we can now license to the smallest player. I think the smaller players are going to adopt the cloud offerings, like software as a service offerings, very quickly. especially as they're looking at how are they going to communicate with depositories like DTCC who require 20 or 22 message processing. They're going to be looking for fast and easy to manage solutions. SunGard is going to make those solutions available to them to communicate to and from DTCC. If we start going back to the marketplace today suggesting they deploy software, that will never get off the ground, and they realize that. So we're seeing quite an adoption of our software as a service offering, which is in the cloud. So I think that we're starting to turn the corner right now as regards adoption of cloud.